For more on this, let's bring in foreign policy expert Harley Lippman. Harley, thanks for coming in today. You know, we have this ceasefire, but the world still seems to be on fire, especially in the Middle East. There is just so much going on there. But as things relate to this ceasefire, both sides have accused each other of violating it. On Thursday, Israel attacked a Hezbollah rocket launcher in Lebanon. But as we heard in Stephanie's report, Israel says the U.S. gave them the right to take military action against threats, direct threats from Lebanon. What do you know about that? What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you for having me. Yes, there is a side letter to the ceasefire agreement that the United States gave Israel, where Israel has the right, and Lebanon has the right to defend itself, but Israel has a right to defend itself proactively. If they see that there's a threat and that they will be attacked, Israel has the right to be able to take action, which is the only way you're going to get Israel to agree to this, because this has been going on for a year, where Hezbollah has been firing thousands of rockets into Israel. And Israel has been warning them and warning them and warning them. Finally, Israel took out most of the leadership of Hezbollah and destroyed 80% of their missiles and rockets, which is extraordinary. So Israel has really given Hezbollah a very meaningful, significant defeat. But going to your reporting about Syria, which is really interesting, how did the rebels take over Aleppo, the second largest city in Syria? And you referred to it. Because one, Hezbollah has been crushed. So they helped out Assad in Syria greatly in the civil war, when there was a civil war between Sunni Muslims, the majority in Syria, and the government of Syria. And remember, the government of Syria, as your announcer mentioned, is closely aligned with Iran and Russia, which is true. But also Russia now, because they're preoccupied with Ukraine, doesn't have as many fighter jets and ammunition in Syria to help Assad. So I would say Assad is very weak right now, and it's quite amazing what's going on.
Yeah, it is really an unbelievable turn of events, with those rebels being able to take over Aleppo like that, and, you know, just only adding to the tensions of the big picture of the region there. But going back to this ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, or Israel and Hezbollah, I want to listen to what former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had to say about it. Let's listen.
I'm unsurprised that the ceasefire hasn't held even for just a couple days. This conflict's been going on a long time. Hezbollah didn't agree as part of the ceasefire to give up their goal. Their goal is the destruction of Israel. Yeah. It was almost certain that their intention would be to go continue this conflict. That's what we, I think, have seen. I hope it gets back to a more peaceful situation so these Israeli citizens that live in the northern part of Israel can get back home.
Yeah, so how about the Israeli citizens who live in northern Israel and the Lebanese citizens who live in southern Lebanon, many of them already going back to their neighborhoods, some finding their homes, some not finding homes. But for the ones who are finding homes, are they going to have to pack up and get out again? What do you think?
Maybe. And I think a lot of people need to have a little context here. There was a ceasefire there. It was Hezbollah that broke it on October 8th. So it's important for everybody to know that Israel was fine with not having any conflict with Lebanon or Hezbollah. Hezbollah attacked Israel. And for the last year, they would fire rockets into Israel, kill Israelis. Israel would respond and fire some rockets back into Lebanon. But how long are you going to keep doing that? Hezbollah kept on firing rockets. Israel would try to fire more rockets back to deter Hezbollah from doing more, but they weren't deterred. So Israel finally had to go in and take out their leadership and destroy most of their weaponry, which they've done. But the only way you're ever going to get peace in this region is if you change the regime in Iran, because this all comes from Iran. Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, Hamas in Gaza, all of them are being trained, they're being supplied and financed and guided by Iran. So we want to get into a situation where we deal with this, unlike the Biden administration that dealt with the Middle East in terms of conflict management, which never settled the issues. Now the Trump administration, I think, is going to deal with this in terms of conflict resolution, which is what we need. And I think that the reason why, sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm running out of time, but that was what I wanted to ask you for the last question. I have about 15 seconds left. How do you expect things to change in the Middle East with Trump becoming the president once again? Just quick answer.
I think Iran is scared of Trump, and I think Trump will be able to put in all kinds of new sanctions and pressure, and hopefully will go for regime change.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see what happens, and we certainly appreciate your perspective. Harley Lippman, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Jonathan.